All right, everybody, thanks so much for stopping by another live episode of Real Estate Titans. I'm your host, Greg Fowler, traveling throughout the marketplace, interviewing the top real estate professionals in our field, from realtors, lenders, builders, developers, residential or commercial, essentially gathering insight, inspiration, really drives and motivates these top producers above and beyond everybody else in what I'd like to consider a real estate titan. Our very special guest and featured titan for today, Eric Simon. Eric, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for coming to my apartment.
Yeah, this is
in the middle of the day on a work day. Perfect.
This is fantastic, yes. And we are in beautiful sunny California, by the way. And this gentleman is the founder, CEO of The Broke Agent.
Yes.
Among so many different accolades, which we'll get into a little bit later. So a little highlight down here, which we'll get to in a bit. So Eric, if you're cool, let's just dive in.
Let's do it.
And let everybody know a little bit more about who you are and what you represent. So let's just start with the first question. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
I'm Eric. I'm 29. I live in Brentwood. I just moved in with my girlfriend, so I'm finally domesticated.
Joining the club.
Barely.
Joining the club.
Yes. We just got a dog, a golden doodle named Miles, who would have been here today, but he's at daycare because he crapped inside a little bit earlier.
Come on, Miles.
Yeah. I went to college at USC.
Okay.
That brought me out to Los Angeles, and then I started working at the Laugh Factory Comedy Club. And that's kind of where I got my start in the comedy realm. Wow. So I started writing down jokes, and then from there, I started The Broke Agent. I got into real estate because someone saw that I was watching, or that I was doing Vines, making 6-second videos when I was unemployed after I quit the Laugh Factory, and said, you need a job. So I basically went into a brokerage, and I was a receptionist for a couple weeks.
Okay.
And that's how I got my start in real estate. And now I'm just doing The Broke Agent, doing actual real estate stuff. I work for Compass in Brentwood.
Love it.
And just trying to figure out how to monetize.
Right.
Make money and not ever do real estate again. That's the goal.
That's the goal, right? And I think that any of the audiences out there, it's very familiar, with The Broke Agent. I mean, it's such a great brand. And again, looking at the humor into the real estate transaction, because there's just so much stress and different things that are going on. It's just nice to have a lighter heart, a brighter portion to real estate that way on the humor side. So
the lighter side of real estate.
Yes, but
the arch nemesis.
No plug.
Exactly.
No.
I can't believe I said that.
Come on.
The worst possible thing.
We'd edit it out if it wasn't live.
I know.
But but I love that, Eric. So when you look at it, so that was really the thought process behind it. So why The Broke Agent? Where did that whole idea spawn from, and the name, that sort of thing? I mean, just a little deeper dive into that.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm too happy with the name, to be honest, because now when everybody mentions The Broke Agent, they affiliate actually being broke with it. So when I see people at conferences now, they're just like, "Oh, are you actually broke?" Like, it's such a stupid segue into a conversation.
Right.
But basically, the thinking behind the name was that 90% of real estate agents quit after the first 4 years. There's some stat
it's super quick
that I don't have memorized that I should.
Sure.
But yeah, 90% of the agents aren't doing what a lot of the top luxury real estate agents are. It's not success after success. So I was basically cold calling and door knocking and failing miserably at both.
Wow.
Had no clients. Still have relatively few.
Okay.
Basically, I just was taking loss after loss after loss, and I was like, there's got to be some sort of funny way I could spin this, because I've always been able to spin the dark times into humor, and social media was kind of the perfect avenue for that. So I thought that there had to be other people that were thinking what I was thinking, as far as this is not the easiest business in the world, because all you do is you see these success stories, you see $1 million listing, you see HGTV, and it's just one person after another that's just killing it.
Right.
Where are the people that aren't killing it? So I wanted to capture the inner monologue of the struggling realtor, just started tweeting, posting to Facebook, and it got picked up pretty quickly, and now you're here.
Love it.
And now I'm here.
This is great though, Eric. I mean, giving everybody a deeper window on what's going on, I mean, this is super exciting. So I want to segue into the next question, which I think is fantastic for this, and just a little understanding. What's your why? I mean, what gets you out of bed in the morning? What excites you to really do what you do to the level you do it at?
Making people laugh has always been my favorite thing on earth to do, whether it's in person or online. I love actually getting the feedback and the dopamine rush of the likes and the comments. It's kind of disgustingly addicting. Instagram,
a good addiction.
It is. Instagram's like a game. You know, you're trying to get followers, you're trying to get likes, you're trying to get comments, and it's great to actually see that feedback. But
Sure.
my why, just in a daily basis, is trying to make myself as comfortable as humanly possible. I hate being in awkward social situations. I like only going to social situations where I know that the audience that's going to be there is going to be like accustomed to my humor.
Yeah.
So I always just try to, you know, bring the light side out, not the lighter side, but the light side out in dark situations. And I guess that's what gets me up. It's just seeing the response from the real estate community definitely helps. Like I get a lot of messages and people saying like, hey, this is what I've experienced, and it's great that somebody else thinks this also, and it's helped me get through, you know, a shitty deal or something like that. So that's cool.
I love that because it's all about making people happy.
Yeah.
You know, spreading happiness in a, again, very difficult industry that comes down to it, and there's a lot of backstory that people just don't want to go through. But you've touched so many people with the Broke Agent, and I love the name personally. I think it's great, and all of your fans, I know they feel the same way. So you just want to flood more people over to this man and what he does. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So let's go into the advisory portion into this, and we can go at any angle that you want to, whether it ends up being, you know, to do with the Broke Agent or from the brokerage side as a realtor. I mean, you have so many different levels. But this is one of the crowd favorites. It's the kind of the growth phase, right? So if you could look back at your business and production thus far, and pick or choose one or two things that you added to your business that took it from one level to the next.
Okay. I'll definitely stay away from what's helped me in my real estate career. I don't think I should be giving advice on that.
Yeah, that's totally cool.
Being named the Broke Agent, I think that would be kind of counterproductive. So, taking the Broke Agent to the next level, definitely one of the biggest things I did was my former co-founder and I, we spoke at the Inman conference, which took a lot of guts, being that we never spoke at a conference before, and I'm sure people could tell. We had no idea what we were doing. We prepared a little stupid presentation with slides. We had no idea what the Broke Agent was. Still kind of don't.
Wow.
It's ever evolving, but definitely just getting outside my comfort zone, that gave it initially a lot of exposure. But on a consistent basis, what I've been doing a lot now to grow my page on Instagram specifically is commenting on pages that have real estate audiences, whether it's Tom Ferry or it's Gary Vaynerchuk or it's Grant Cardone or it's these bigger other meme pages. I post funny comments in there, so that brings a lot more eyes over to my page.
Cool.
And then I've also been in a lot of engagement groups with other kind of meme accounts or other influencers that are disgruntled with their profession. There's stupid resumes, there's attorney problems, and we kind of have this crew on Instagram where we help repost each other's stuff, and that definitely helped it take it to the next level, just because they have a lot of followers and we're kind of just always tagging each other back and forth. So that's definitely helped. And then just responding to every single DM. And I can't respond to every comment, but I'm trying to do that. But as personal as I can make the brand as possible, and as accessible as I could be, that's definitely helped it.
Wow. I mean, there's so much, you know, positive nature into what you're saying out there. And again, you're applying this to business in general. Influencer marketing is crucially important. And it doesn't matter what your background or what's going on. Finding people that are in mutual spaces that have different spheres or of influence that you guys can mutually benefit, I think is super healthy from whatever angle you look at. Also, if you're basing it off of being true and intimate with your followers, to me, and I know that a lot of other influencers that are out there, it's not about us. It is about them.
Right.
And obviously you built a beautiful reputation and follower basis. I think last I checked, you were well over 140,000 on Instagram alone. So again, that's no easy feat. Getting 1,000, let alone over 100,000.
It's been a slow roll too. It didn't happen all at once. We got reposted by, I think, Tom Ferry and Ryan Serhant kind of very early on. But the reason Ryan Serhant reposted is I posted him in a meme and tagged him and sent it to him. So basically I created the content for him that he reposted. So if anybody ever wants to do that, that's been a great tool for people to be reposted by me.
Okay.
Is they'll send a funny real estate meme with my branding already on it. So it's just that easy where I could literally save it to my phone and post it.
Love it.
Yeah, so that's a really good move if you're trying to get an influencer's attention.
Okay.
Instead of just saying, tagging them or saying like, hey, can you please post this?
Right.
You just actually send them the content and use their branding and just make it easy for them. It's like the best possible thing.
Wow, that's huge advice. I mean, truly all the way through and through for anybody who's out there, and not just about the broke agent,
Right.
but for any other influencer that you're trying to tap in. And I think that no matter, obviously this is a real estate podcast and show, but this kind of goes across any business platform really that's heavily engaged into audience, social media, things like that. Any other thoughts? I mean, there was a ton of info in there, but
yeah, I mean, I guess just DM people that are similar to you in a similar business and ask if you can shout each other out. I mean, the story now is such a underutilized. I don't know if it's underutilized, but it's the perfect tool to tag somebody and promote somebody without like shoving it in your audience's face.
Well said.
So I think there's a lot of people on their stories that are promoting other people in a lot more organic way because you could just talk about it. Like this guy Jason Cassidy in San Diego. I don't know if you've ever heard him speak. He'd actually be great for this.
Okay.
He's a titan.
Shout out to
he'd kill
Jason.
it, yeah.
We might be coming for you.
You should. He speaks at a lot of conferences. He's killing it on social media. But he DM'd me and was just like, hey, what can I do for you?
Wow.
Can I buy some of your books? Can I promote your books? And I was like, sure, what can I do for you? And I just shouted him out and said, hey, if you want to follow someone else that's killing the real estate social media game, check him out. And so it was just kind of like a mutually beneficial thing. So
huge.
Yeah, just ask people, just shoot into their DMs or get their attention by commenting. I mean, don't be annoying about it. Just say,
Right.
how can I help you? I mean, just the same way you reached out to me. I don't remember how you reached out to me.
I think it was just on direct messenger.
There we go. So I respond to everything.
Already there, right,
Yeah.
everybody? I mean, this advice is huge, and hopefully you're taking big notes onto this. This is applied knowledge and information to really scale and grow your business and exposure. I think that that's the big struggle with a lot of real estate professionals, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's really about connecting with people, just like any brand, product, or service. But I think few people in the real estate industry really understand that and are utilizing it to the fullest. There's so much exposure that you can be had, and we work with who we know, like, and trust.
Right.
Right? So giving people the opportunity or window into who you are and what you represent, utilizing the right technologies now, this is digital word of mouth. And I love that. So again, huge advice, Eric. I mean, this is really, really great stuff.
Good.
Glad
I could give some good branding advice.
Oh, this is huge. The humility coming out of this guy. I love it. So I want to go into the next question. And this one, it's the tricky part of this particular series and interview. It ends up being the challenge question.
All right, let's see if I can.
So if you look at it, we all deal with challenges in our lives, right?
Yes.
No one's exempt, whether it's in the past, now, or in the future. But it's not so much what happens, Eric, but how we respond, what we learn from. And I think that's what people really want to take away. So if you're comfortable sharing a challenge you dealt with, that you overcame, you became stronger because of it, what's that look like for you?
I'd say it's still going on right now.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a specific moment in my life where I necessarily overcame like a death or an injury or something like that. I don't have any. I made the golf team my junior year instead of my sophomore year. So that's my privilege coming out right there.
The struggle is real.
No, the struggle for me and the challenge has basically been, what the hell am I doing with my life? I'm a half real estate agent, half broke agent brand, and I just don't know where this is going, and I don't know if I want to continue it or how long I want to continue it for.
Right.
I'm basically throwing shit against the wall to see if it sticks.
Sure.
And everything that I'm doing, I'm not organized. I'm waking up trying to figure out what I want to do on a daily basis. I don't have my posts scheduled.
Wow.
I don't have what I'm going to do that day as far as the posts. Yeah, it's kind of sad actually.
Well, but that's real. That's
yeah.
real, Eric.
No, I mean, I know there's something here, and I like making the content, and I think real estate is the perfect industry for this to happen because the content kind of gives itself away.
Right.
And the more real estate stuff I do, the more content I get. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword where I have to keep doing real estate to keep coming up with stuff.
Sure.
But when I'm not doing real estate stuff, how can I keep coming up with stuff? How many open house jokes can I possibly make? How many escrow rep and title rep jokes? It's just like I'm getting sick of it.
Right.
So I need to evolve.
Okay.
And how I'm going to evolve is basically with funny Instagram videos.
Yes.
I don't know if that's the right way to evolve necessarily, but yeah, funny Instagram scripted videos, which I've been saying that I'm going to do for the last 3 years now, and actually stay consistent with that, where I post on a weekly basis and actually, write scripted, funny videos. And then I'm also writing a script for a potential TV show. Who knows?
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm trying everything right now.
Eric, I think that what, at least to me, and what hopefully the audience is listening or hearing, seeing or hearing right now, is that you're falling forward, right? Or failing forward, however you want to break it down. And I think that all the greats.
That's a good podcast name, Failing Forward.
Is
that a podcast?
I don't know. It might be soon.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
But I think that to me, it's showing true reality in the situation. The greats. And we kind of discussed this before we went live. The Mavericks, the Trailblazers.
The Titans.
The Titans, right?
Yes.
The disruptors.
Yes.
There's no clear-cut path.
Right.
They're doing their own thing, and it seems crazy and insane, and people look at it and like, he's half in and half doing this.
Right.
But those are the people who make the biggest changes, the biggest impacts. Again, I'm not just being a fanboy here, but at the end of the day, you're making a big impact in the community, and there's so many people that are touched by your content, and continue to be. And again, if you're not engaged with this content, you need to check it out. It's absolutely phenomenal. But I mean, Eric, I appreciate you sharing that, because it's not easy to say, well, shoot, I'm not sure what's going on, and I'm evolving, and I don't have everything planned out to a T.
Well, it's oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I have merchandise. I'm doing like influencer work for brands. We have this book. There's speaking engagements, which I don't particularly like doing, but there's just, it's just like, once you build the audience, then what do you do with it? What are you going to sell them? And it's hard to actually like bridge that gap and actually say like, hey, this product really works. But like, if somehow I could actually educate them or like help their business at the same time as making them laugh, that would be great. Whether it's from a branding or social media perspective, I think that's probably the avenue. I'm not going to become a real estate coach, obviously.
Well.
Even though actually that's what a lot of people do when they don't sell real estate.
That's very true.
Real estate coaches. So I don't want to become like a coach. It's like everything I make fun of.
Sure.
But it would be great to help people somehow get referrals or just help their business, whether it's wearing the merchandise, sharing a broke agent post, or just like finding the humor in real estate that they can share with their clients. If that helps them with their business, then I can figure out a way to further monetize it.
Sure.
Because that's what matters. It really does. I know people are going to talk about other stuff, but I gotta figure this thing out.
And I think that's being very truthful. And at the end of the day, it's not a charity. We have to support our livelihoods and our families and everything that's going on. And I know that some of the greatest of the greats, you always want to try to attach passion. People will read through whether you're passionate or not about what you're doing, and those are the people who really take it to that next level.
Right.
And as far as I'm concerned, the future's really bright, and to me, the sky's the limit. I mean, I can't wait to see what you do and things, and I know your followers are anticipated as that as well. So thanks for sharing. It's not easy to air your stuff out in front of everybody, Eric, so thank you. But I want to switch gears into a softer question.
Okay.
This is actually one of my favorites. This is a travel back in time.
Okay.
So if you could travel back in time and give young Eric a piece of advice at any age range and time of your life, what would you say to your younger self?
I should have prepared something for this.
You're totally good. This is live, everybody. Just a reminder.
I probably would have bought Bitcoin.
Okay. That's there. And Apple stock, I don't know.
Yeah, Bitcoin's easier just to buy. And I definitely would have bought Bitcoin. But I guess younger broke agent self, I would have posted on YouTube every single day and like documented this entire journey and tried to make longer form content and focused on that.
Wow.
YouTube is a huge opportunity in the real estate space. A few people are starting to do it now with the daily vlogging. I don't want to be a vlogger like Jake Paul. I don't want to, I'm not going to like be smiling in front of the camera, showing myself walking around the apartment making a meme.
Right.
Like that's nothing anybody cares about that.
Here's Eric making some eggs and having some coffee while he's making a meme.
If only it was that entertaining.
Right.
Yeah, but the YouTube and the video space is something that I should focus on. Okay. And also, I would tell younger Eric to find a business manager that could help with the other side of my business.
Wow, well said.
Because I am a creative person, and I like coming up with the stuff, and I like making people laugh, but trying to figure out, like, where can I cut my costs, where, I finally just hired like someone that's doing like Facebook advertising for me.
Love
but
it.
I just need, someone that could just skim through everything. So if you're watching, you want to be like a co-CEO or something, 50% of the company is up for sale right there.
There you go.
There you go.
All of Eric's info will be attached to this particular podcast and show, so you can reach right out.
Reach out. Let's make some money on it. No, I think someone that could help with the business side would be great. And yeah, Bitcoin. That's pretty much it. Because then I wouldn't even have to do this.
Well, then you wouldn't have to worry about anything else.
Exactly.
You just do as you come and go. And please,
That's right.
But I think that's everything that you mentioned in that. Like, no one has a crystal ball. No one really has a time machine to go back and say, let's do Bitcoin, let's go Apple. But I think that your advice going into
such a stupid answer.
No, but I look at it and you say to your business and setting that up is bringing on the right people and surrounding yourself with those people as soon as possible, because pretty much every Titan that's been showcased on the series, but any top tier professional, they recognize what their strengths are and they run with it, but they also recognize what their weaknesses are, and then they fill in those gaps, add the pieces of the puzzle together to make that bigger picture happen. Yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah, I mean, Gary Vaynerchuk talks about it all the time. I'm sure 90% of the people listen to him. Sure, but he always talks about like, punt your weaknesses and focus on your strengths, right? So I would love to find someone that was, reaching out to these brands and like figuring out the business side, and all I had to do was worry about creating the posts, creating the videos, and just really taking it to the next level. Because it's a one-man show. It's just, you lose motivation, you gain motivation. It's like, as an entrepreneur, it's a roller coaster. Where some days I think, this is the greatest thing ever. I got a book, Sure. I got videos, I got a few people that like follow, but then other times I'm like, what am I doing?
Right.
Like, I'm making real estate memes, like, enough's enough.
Well, I mean...
Not enough's enough. It's continuing.
Sure, and I love the real nature and truth of that, and I think that any entrepreneur, as you touched on, it is a roller coaster. Yeah. I mean, anybody who's watching or listening to this understands that that's just the nature of the beast, and it's not all going to be great and sunshine and roses. If it was, everybody would do it. If it was easy, everybody would do it. So I think, to me, that's very inspiring. Yeah. Anybody who's watching or listening to this really can understand that if you want to go for something, you got to go for it, and there's going to be ups and downs. Just have good people that support you. And keep striving, keep going. You'll know when it's right, and you'll know when it's wrong.
I mean, I know it's right now just because the feedback is great. Like, sitting in the apartment or sitting in the office and just like posting and then not looking at what people are saying, it doesn't feel right. But when you actually, like when I go to a real estate conference, for example, and people actually talk to me and they say, hey, love what you're doing. You coming here. Yeah. Like that's actually where I see like, oh, I'm actually doing something here.
For sure.
So that's what I need to do more of, is get out of here. This couch specifically.
Listen to this man right here.
Go to more conferences, and that's when I meet the best people. Like I've made so many friends through the Broke Agent. It's actually been a great part of it too. Like the Jason Cassidy guy, right? Who I keep plugging, who I'm not even that good of friends with.
Jason, we're coming for you, man.
For you.
But I think that's super good when it comes through, and that advice, everybody can take that away, myself included. I think that's huge step. So I do want to shift gears onto the next question, and this is actually a crowd pleaser into here, because everybody really wants to know, whether they're new or seasoned into the business, or any entrepreneur that's really engaging in this content, they want to know how the Titans are feeding their minds. Really what you guys are doing to really grow your brain. Yeah. Okay, keep listening. So alcohol, if there's any... No, I'm kidding. Well, there might be some truth to that. But I think that you look at it, books you're reading or read, podcasts you're listening to or have listened to, or just coaches, influencers on social media. I mean, Eric, how are you feeding your mind?
I'm not feeding my mind with books.
Okay.
I haven't fed my mind.
Except for this one.
With a recreational book since I was assigned summer reading back in 2005, whenever. So I guess Holes is always the book I say. That's probably the last book I read, which is horrible. I went to Barnes & Noble like 6 months ago and bought 6 books. Okay. I bought like Crush It by Gary Vee. Yeah. I bought 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. I bought, that's a book, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
They're probably just sitting over there too. I bought like 5 other books that I just never, I read maybe 2 pages of one, and then I was like, this is, no.
It's tough.
I know, it is. I should be feeding my mind more with that stuff, because trying to figure out how to run a business by yourself is wrong. So what I do is I watch YouTube videos.
Love
like a lot of people that are my age, I'm 29 years old, I think a lot of people watch YouTube videos. I watch Gary Vaynerchuk for business advice. I watch a lot of political shows that I'm not going to mention because I don't want to gaslight half my audience and get thrown out of Los Angeles.
Wait a minute here.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Gary V, Tom Ferry's a mentor of mine. I've met with him a couple times, and he's great, and he keeps me motivated. And the fact that he shows any bit of interest whatsoever keeps me involved.
That's
and I like looking what he does on social media to replicate, and basically just other creators. So other people that are doing stuff like me in different industries that have different pages and different brands, I try to replicate those.
Love it.
So I feed my mind on Instagram
that's huge.
with other influencers that are trying to monetize their brands. So I pick up on like, oh, this is what I should do with my stories, or this is what I should do with my hashtags, or this is how I should respond to my audience. So I stay in my, I guess, social media lane by finding out what other people are doing and what's working for them.
Love it.
I'm trying to think how else I feed my mind. I watch sports.
Yeah. Which is huge. You have to have just as much as you're feeding. You got to have a certain disconnect, excitement, and going through. When I talk to a lot of different Titans, I mean, when you're talking about educate, there's so many ways you can educate your mind. People look at books or podcasts or YouTube videos, or they go to conferences and they learn from others.
I go to conferences.
A lot of times, it's, as you said, the conversations that you're having. You learn from so many people face to face, reaching out and doing that, I think is great. But a big segment that I think a lot of people are missing out on is that you are paying attention to the other influencers, the people that are in your space or associated in some form or fashion, and how they're growing, how they're doing it. No need to reinvent the wheel. That's a huge way to learn, right? So I think that's great advice.
Just like a specific example, there's an account called Attorney Problems. That's what I do. I don't know if they're on everywhere besides Instagram, or they're a brand, or they're just a meme page, but he does something called Sunday Submissions, which is a cool, it's alliteration, and then it allows him to get a post for free, basically, without having to come up with it, and then it involves his audience also. And then I saw a bunch of people doing Throwback Thursdays, which allows me to bring up old material, knowing that half my audience hasn't seen the post that I did in 2015.
Super smart.
I mean, those are just 2 off the top of my head, but I mean, I got all these like engagement groups and DM ideas and everything from people doing it to me. And people inviting me. So just consuming as much content as possible from the people that are trying to do similar things to me in different industries is how I've fed my mind.
I love it. This beautiful mind right here is creating all this amazing content for everybody out there. I love that, and there's so many takeaways and positivity. Everybody, I'll have links in the comments down below so you can feed your mind the same way that this man is doing, or at least attempt to. But Eric, this has been chock full of amazing information, really compelling to get people to know who you are deeper. I'm so honored and excited that you took the time.
Thank you.
I want to finish everything up with one final question. And this ends up being a quote or a mantra that you might live by that sums you up as a man, as a professional. What's that look like for Eric Simon?
I guess keep laughing. I don't know. I don't have a quote. I don't have a favorite quote. Just find the funny side of things. So whenever something bad happens to me in real estate, because you take so many little losses every single day in real estate, you could. It's hard. Like I could literally turn that around in 5 seconds and make that into a tweet and hope my client doesn't see it, of course. But I like to find laughter in pain, basically. And I think I don't know, cynical, pessimistic, whatever, just kind of general in life. And I think that helps with my humor and helps with my content. So just keep laughing and read the book.
That's right. But Eric, I think that's great. I mean, truly keep laughing, and it's a huge, segue into you as a man and the brand that you've built and will continue to build, and it's just awesome. I mean,
Thank you.
There's huge takeaways into this. I want to thank you again, Eric, for letting us in, letting the audience into your beautiful place here in California.
Can I mention something real quick?
Oh yeah. Hit it.
So Eric Lee is the illustrator on this.
Yeah.
So he drew all these characters, and he should definitely get recognition for this book. Eric Lee, he's a realtor in Canada, and we just came out with this book, Commission Impossible, Rogue Agent, and it's basically about the broke agent's journey in real estate. So
I'm super excited. I mean, so you can get it on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
And then
Amazon,
also
Barnes and Noble, thebrokeagentbook.com, wherever.
I picked up my copy already. I can't wait to dive into it myself. So hopefully
Keep
everybody.
in mind with that.
That's right. Yeah. This is right here, and it's just good stuff. But Eric, you are an official real estate titan.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Awesome.
Everybody, thanks so much for your time and attention, your love and support. As always, if you like what we're doing here with Real Estate Titans, give us a thumbs up on Facebook. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, and take a listen on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Live every Tuesday and Friday afternoon, a different Titan, a different location. We'll catch everybody on the next live episode of Real Estate Titans. Take care.
Peace.